UConn is out. Pitino gets shanked, and Adam Zucker joins us from CBS Sports. Tons of March Madness. Let's do this on a Sunday night. Let's ride. What it do, everybody? Welcome inside another edition of Watch DA Live. This is our live show every Sunday night on the YouTube channel. It's also available on Twitter as well. We're simulcasting both places. Both places also you can go back and watch the show. If you miss any part of it, you join late, etc. So that's always cool. Tonight, we'll update you on the D-Alien Bracket Challenge brought to you by Tropical Bros. Also, we've got Adam Zucker from CBS Sports joining us. He's the host of March Madness. You see him all over the TV this time of year. And so he'll drop on by to talk a little March Madness. And we are making tacos, plus some NFL offseason news to get to, and last dive bar swag to give away. So make sure you got all of your comments coming in, all right? Make sure you use the comments because we are giving away last dive bar gear as always. It's going to be an awesome night tonight. Thank you on a Sunday night for joining us and spread the gospel of Watch DA Live. Bring your friends, bring your family, be one with the channel. Let's begin tonight with your Furious Five. The run of Danny Hurley and the UConn Huskies is over. Back-to-back national champs, and they lose to Florida. Tight game. They just could not get over the hump late. Florida kind of inched their way to the finish line. It ends up being a 77-75 victory for the Gators, one of the favorites in this tournament, the team that I have winning it all. And I think UConn is respected, but I don't think they're loved. Of course, they're loved by Huskies fans. But Danny Hurley had another moment that just left you kind of with a bad taste in your mouth. He's coming off of the floor and he's yelling in the tunnel to Baylor, who's about to take the floor after him. I hope they don't F you the way that they F'd us. And he just kind of like can't ever take a loss well. And I'm not saying that as good as he is as a head coach, he should be happy with a loss. I understand being aggravated. I understand being sullen. I understand being kind of beaten down emotionally. This has been a long run. This has been an amazing run. At the same time, it's always so ugly. Everything has to be so ugly with Hurley. He's such an over-boiling kettle all the time. He's laying down on the floor early in the season, yelling at the refs. He pushes away or silences his assistant coach during today's game. And then this moment's the one that goes viral. Hurley makes it really tough if you're not a UConn fan to really embrace UConn. And of course, there's always been coaches that have been rough around the edges, unpolished, Bobby Knight among them, and that guy's a Hall of Famer. And maybe in retrospect, a guy like Bobby Knight, you go, oh, I miss that type of behavior. And maybe we'll do the same thing with Hurley. But I don't know. Nothing against any of the players, but Hurley as the face of that program, that is an amazing run he just had. An amazing historic run back-to-back. We know how hard that is to do. Your great teams of all time are the teams that have gone back-to-back, like the early 90s Duke teams, like the Gators teams of 15 years ago, of the UCLA teams, etc. And what are we left with after that incredible historic run? We're left with Danny Hurley acting like a child in the tunnel, right, to the team that hasn't even played yet. It's unfortunate that he has to be that way. It's unfortunate that that's kind of his demeanor, and maybe you can't have one without the other. This incredibly driven guy who drove his team to 2 championships. But it leaves UConn as a squad that, because Hurley's the face of it, you tend to root for that team to lose. because it's like that's the behavior. That's the boorish, obnoxious behavior after you lose. And, hey, look, maybe that's supposed to be a private moment. It's not, the cameras aren't supposed to be there in the tunnel. At the same time, that's what you're yelling as you walk out of the tunnel and another team's walking in. I mean, come on. Can we tone down a little bit and have a little bit of class here, Danny? Just a little bit. And I know there's probably going to be UConn fans that call me a UConn hater because I'm a Syracuse grad. So be it. I mean, I've certainly hated UConn in the past. I didn't hate this UConn team the last couple of years from a player standpoint at all. There's no Khalid Elamines or Jake Voskels or Richard Hamilton's ripping out the hearts of my team anymore. Those guys are long gone. Syracuse doesn't play in the Big East anymore. So, I have nothing against UConn as a program anymore. But I mean, for Hurley, I just felt like, come on, man, really? After that run, this is going to be your exclamation point. Grow up. Next up, how about the two gangsters, the two wise guys going at it on Saturday? Cal and Pitino, and John Calipari gets the last laugh. And we know that there's a blood feud there. We know because there is a decade where John Calipari's at Kentucky, Pitino's at Louisville, and there is a war within that state, which is crazy about basketball, of those two programs, those two schools going after recruits and trying to kind of win over the state, and donors and boosters and fans and alumni hate one another. Kentucky and Louisville absolutely hate one another. So there was something real there between the schools and the programs, and then there was something real there between the two coaches. And it was so interesting to see some of the old footage of these two guys. They've had some wars, conflicts over the years. They won national championships in back-to-back years in 2012 for Cal at Kentucky, in 2013 for Rick at Louisville. Rick is the greater coach. Rick is the greater X's and O's guy. But Rick got what was coming to him, because the day before this game, what does Pitino say? Well, Cal has acquired more talent than anybody over the years, anybody in history. And that is absolutely a backhanded stab at him because he only won one national title. It is absolutely a backhanded stab. And so after Pitino says he's acquired more talent than anybody, here he is as a 10 seed. As a 10 seed. Coming to get you. He's wearing that incredible jacket, which I love the joke online that went viral on social media. That was the tablecloth of the Italian restaurant where Pitino had his tryst, one of his many scandals over the years. It was almost too perfect that here came Cal, and just like De Niro and Pesci in Casino, it was like one final duel in the desert. And who knows if we'll get them playing one another again, because look, Big East and the SEC don't normally play. It would have to happen in the tournament more than likely, unless it happens in an early season tournament like the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. So who knows how many more Cal versus Pitino games we get. But that is a humiliating loss for Pitino. This was his best season that he could have ever hoped for in year 2 at St. John's. They win the Big East regular season. They win the Big East tournament. They have all of this love in New York City. Here in New York, St. John's hasn't gotten that type of support, that type of widespread love since the Carnesecca heyday. I'm telling you, you got to go back to the 90s, and it might be the early 90s. You might have to go back to the 80s for a St. John's team that galvanized the city this way, galvanized the area this way. Sports talk lit up about St. John's basketball. That never happens. And here they are, 2 and done, and they go down to a 10 seed, and they hated Coach Calipari for Rick Pitino. That is as devastating a loss as you're going to find. Question marks about how Pitino used his superstar player, the all Big East player that he has, and, just does he use him the right way? He sits him. Is it because he's cold? Is it because it's poor coaching? Pitino, that's a devastating loss. It's a devastating moment for the program that had just finally felt back again. And to do it at the hands of Cal has got to absolutely rip the guts out of Pitino. And that was the moment so far of the tournament. That game, that blood feud, that animosity, that was the moment so far of the tournament. And it was the perfect kind of shank job. You know, it's like two gangsters and one guy comes up from behind and gets you and you don't even see it coming. And you're like, that's how that episode of The Sopranos ends. That's how that scene of The Godfather ends. That's how that movie, The Goodfellas, ends. That's how it had to happen. It was all too perfect that's how Pitino goes down in this tournament. Slick Rick got by Cal. Too good. And that brings us to our third segment and our third topic. That Pitino versus Cal, that was the moment of the tournament because this tournament has lacked the flair of previous tournaments. We have not had buzzer beaters. We have not had crazy, chaotic games. We have not had that indelible moment, that huge, massive upset. We have not had a 15 over a 2, a 16 over a 1. And our upsets were relatively modest. I mean, McNeese was a fun one. That was good. But a lot of people had that as an upset. A couple of 5-12s and, Drake getting through, but nothing felt cataclysmic. Nothing felt, oh my God, hold your hands up over your head. Nothing was a, can you believe what you just saw, which is weird because we're almost through the entire first weekend and we haven't had those moments. And, we'll get to the McNeese manager, Amir Khan, a little bit later on in the show. But with his boombox and his NIL deals and his Under Armour jumpsuit, Amir Khan became kind of the character of the tournament so far, which is weird because it wasn't a player. And I just wonder if some of the magic of the tournament is gone because there's just so much turnover in the transfer portal that nobody has any idea about any of the players. And it doesn't mean that interest in the tournament's down. Interest in the tournament is fine. Ratings are going to be good. Brackets are always filled out. Your social media run is very good. The world stops for these 3 weekends in March for college basketball. But who knows any of the players? I mean, besides Cooper Flagg, most fans couldn't name anybody. And if you're left with not knowing a player in the tournament, are you left with then the Amir Khans, the quirky manager of one of the teams? It's like a Sister Jean situation. You have to have a mascot because nobody knows the players. It's a very odd situation. And I think that there's been some blowouts, but mostly they've been kind of relatively close games, but just no incredible drama, no incredible stories, mostly favorites winning. And, aside from Pitino and St. John's going down to the 2 seed in the first weekend, it has been a bit of all right, okay, moving on. Hopefully that drama will pick up maybe tonight, maybe next week into the Sweet 16. Maybe games will get better, more classic, because this was a very top-heavy season in college basketball. The 1s, the 2s kind of separated themselves from everybody else. And then there was a big gap. Maybe when they start playing one another in the regional finals, we'll get some of those classics. But for now, still waiting on the unbelievable basketball moment of the tournament. So speaking of, when you tune into CBS or any of the family of channels, you're seeing our next guest. He is an incredible host for college football, for plenty of coverage of everything on CBS, but really March Madness, he's all over the TV. You know him. He has now filled in the big shoes of the late Greg Gumbel. So joining us here on the show is my friend, Adam Zucker. March Madness is what everybody is talking about, and the man with the face that everybody's looking at all weekend long and all tournament long is my good friend from CBS Sports, the host of March Madness, the NCAA Tournament on CBS, and much, much more, Adam Zucker. Adam, how we doing?
DA, it is good to see you, buddy. Week 1, just about in the books here.
I can only imagine how much fun it must be over at CBS. You're in this really awesome room, brackets up behind you. It must just be a party, a fiesta all month long over there.
It really is. We normally just stay on the set when we're working the whole time, and and can watch multiple games, can watch one game on a giant TV, or cut that giant TV into 4 large TVs and watch whatever's happening and order food and yell at the screen and yell for our brackets and yell at each other. And sometimes you get ready to do a 20-minute show and it becomes a 30-second bridge. Sometimes, you don't think you're going to do anything, but then Duke Baylor just gets into a runaway mode and you come on for a quick hitter. So it's a blast, and it's so cool to be a part of it.
Just a lot of yelling over at CBS Sports. That's good to know. Just a lot of yelling.
Yeah, no, friendly yelling, rooting, and excitement. And I've learned a lot. I have learned so much sitting next to, like on Sunday, for example, Clark, Kenny, and Wally. The day before, Clark, Charles, and Wally, and just listening to them compare players, unpack certain aspects, and kind of really put a PhD level to the one-on-one stuff that usually comes out of my mouth.
You just got to make sure that Charles knows what game you're talking about. Ernie got caught in that trap the other day. He didn't know that Barkley wasn't watching the game they were talking about, the Illinois game.
Is that right? I totally missed that part.
Yeah.
I will tell you though, there's a lot of times where there's 2 studios for 4 channels during the first round with True TV. And so there are times where you have the best laid plans, but it could be an overtime, it could be a review, an injury, or just a lot of fouling. And all of a sudden, a game that you're kind of eyeballing casually, knowing that you're doing this other game, suddenly you have to take that game on, and you may not have seen a specific play. Or, they had this awesome thing with the ice cream truck.
Yeah, that was great.
So when there's like a big, like in studio taping or segment that has to get done in a certain time, that's another reason why it might not happen. But I will tell you, like, there's TV the uptight way, where you act like the viewer has a rundown at home, and then there's what we do in this building during the tournament, where, if Charles was busy watching Auburn or they were doing a segment with this other group of people, like, that stuff just happens. So, I think you've experienced this in your career, right? It's just become more honest about what when you know it, and what's happening, I guess, in the studio sometimes. Like Seth Davis had a live ram down in the Atlanta studio, and it was clearly not house trained.
Well, it resonates, man. It looks like you guys are having a great time. It adds to the fun of the tournament. But these have been big shoes to fill after Greg Gumbel stepped away. And, of course, our hearts go out to his family, and he was just a legend. So how has it been to slide into that role, knowing he was the face of March Madness for decades?
It's still so weird, DA, because I was in school at Syracuse waiting for Greg Gumbel to come on to tell me if Syracuse was in or out, or where they were going, where we were going to go do radio, or, cover it with the TV station that I was at there. The whole thing's been very strange and sad. He was the greatest. He was so great to me. He was great to everybody. But when he wasn't with us last year, he sent me a lot of great encouragement and a lot of host specific advice about the selection show. About, hey, if it doesn't pop up at first, just keep going. Like, if for some reason the 10 seed doesn't show up as you say it, they'll figure it out. Don't just sit there waiting for it. Keep going. Or if, remember that there's a delay on some of the reactions at the schools when you announce their names. But it's a massive vacancy without him here. Like, for all of us, just in our hearts, he was just the soul of the place, and he was so kind and joyful and funny. And, it's of course more sad now that he's not here anymore. I filled in for him last year, and I would get texts from him. And a lot of us don't have true closure with his passing. So, we know what he would want to see. We know how he would want us to do the job. And that's what we do.
That's poignant. That's well said. And I can only imagine, how it is over there. For basketball and what you guys have seen so far, what you've seen over the course of this weekend, what has been in your mind the story of the weekend? Was it Pitino versus Calipari? Was it UConn getting bounced after this amazing 3-year run? What was it?
Well, the St. John's Arkansas game was crazy. No doubt a class game, and just kind of a surprise ending there, because even if RJ Lewis is struggling from the field, you're left wondering why he's not out there, because they were still, I think, +7 without him and minus double digits. +7 with him and minus double digits without him. And then, how much do you question the Hall of Fame coach? And so that was a big story. And I think that was a big story in part because we haven't had the monster upsets. You had a couple 12 seeds, but top 4 seeds not only advanced for the 6th time ever, all 4, 1 through 4, but it was the largest margin of victory ever. And the power conferences are now dominating. So even McNeese and Drake are gone now. And so you did end up with a couple of classics. I thought BYU Wisconsin was one of them. Could have been a situation where the referees became the story there. And as we sit here Sunday evening with still some games to play, Florida looked like the new guys, and UConn looked like the team with championship medal. But Florida just made a couple of big plays at the end in the final 5 minutes, especially defensively and rebounding to avoid trouble. And then Duke, to me now, Duke looks like the team I should have picked to win it all. I do have Florida. And then, there's a lot of people who want to talk about which conference is the best. And I think the SEC is starting to, flex back a little bit over the weekend. But I'm waiting for a buzzer beater. Sunday at 6:30 Eastern as we're talking, waiting for a buzzer beater, waiting for some classic moment. Tanjay almost had it. And then on that play, I was waiting for a hook and hold to be called on Wisconsin on the near baseline. And that's in part because BYU is my unique Final Four pick. So we'll see.
Love it. Well, you've had a busy week, an incredibly busy weekend. I know the family's over there at CBS. You're ready to go out with them and say hello. So, man, it's always a pleasure to catch up, brother. Thank you so much. You were absolutely crushing it in that role. I'm so proud to watch you each and every year, considering where our paths began back at student radio, and you were one of the mentors of mine when you were there, and we were both there together. So thanks so much for the time tonight, man. It was great.
DA, I'm sorry I was probably a jerk in college, and I appreciate coming on with you.
No, you weren't.
You laughing.
Actually, you weren't. You were totally cool.
I was like a dog that barks a lot is what I kind of my self-assessment. Like I'd walk into that radio station or I'd be like, what's this silence I'm surrounded by? Must shatter it.
That's great, man. Have a great night. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
You too, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam Zucker. That is awesome. I mean, again, where are you getting these types of guests? The level of these types of guests throughout football season. We had awesome guests, big-time national network people. We had insiders. We had former players. We had former coaches. We had Charlie Weiss on here, 3-time Super Bowl champion, the day that Drake May debuted. I mean, here we have the guy that's on your TV sets basically as he's on your TV set on this show. We taped that right before we went live tonight. So we taped that at like 6:30, 6:45 Eastern time. He comes right on. Boom. How good is that? This is the place to be. We got it cooking around here. The guests have been phenomenal. You guys are phenomenal. This is a special place. Invite people into and let them know Sunday nights, there's some mojo there. They got it. They got it cooking. If you're a sports fan, you got to love it. All right. With that being said, who is our internal college basketball aficionado? It's the Marquette Marvel, of course, Aiden Hatton, who is here for the latest installment of Making Tacos.
If you're not making tacos, I don't love you no more.
Ba-da-bum-bum. Welcome inside Making Tacos, Aiden. Nice sombrero.
Thank you. I almost forgot to put it on as we were starting the segment because we're doing it a little different this time around. Games are in the right-hand corner of my eye, trying to see Illinois get this rally going on. But to start us off in a personal dedication, it's taken some days to defrost for this week's tacos, but I want to dedicate this dinner to Marquette. Without them, there is no marvel. We persevere through thick and thinly sliced meats. So without that, or without further ado, let's ask, how's your bracket? Chances are you're feeling good, doing well, since seeds 1 through 4 went unscathed, as Mr. Adam Zucker said, in the first round for the first time since 2017. So yes, you have to be feeling good,
doing well.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And to cook fully through the second round, let's see who's hot and who's not in today's Calientes.
Feeling good, doing well. Feeling good, doing well.
Yeah, we don't forget about Mike Pacheco here as well. So if the analogy goes that I was dumped by Marquette on Friday, I rebounded with the Cougars on Saturday and fell in love again. I love this team. BYU, me and Adam are on them to go to the Final Four. Not only did they beat my bitter rival, Wisconsin, but you can root for longtime NBA assistant Kevin Young. He's in the left-hand side of that picture, who is running a fun-to-watch operation up in Provo. They're getting Peanut Butter and Jimmer Fredette in the house for the first weekend. Both games, he's been in town, ready to go. So that just begs the question, where does the salt go?
And then where does the salt go?
We'll get to it because there's a lot of salt to be thrown around. And if you're keeping score, I scored with 2 different Cougars last night.
Ooh,
Houston
saucy.
also fended off Gonzaga's rally to advance to the Sweet 16. So my good friend Pat Boyle, I just have to ask.
Like that, big boy?
You like that, big boy? And yes, in an episode of Italian on Italian Crime, my close personal friend, John Calipari, a former guest of Dear District Diaries.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes. Don't you remember back in the day, one of the questions that we came up with was, what's your favorite type of cheese? Or what should be the official state cheese in Wisconsin?
Yeah.
And that was a very popular prompt. And that was a night that I did get legend John Calipari on Dear District Diaries to ask him. And his answer was ricotta. And he said it in the most American way possible. And that might have been a summer fry, DA. So maybe this is why you don't remember.
Well, I remember Dear District Diaries. This is when Aiden was going to Bucks playoff games and doing crowd work there.
The famous 2021 World Championship run. Yes.
Yeah.
And this may have been a summer Friday because I remember Mraz driving the bus that next morning saying, why does he have the most American accent? Why didn't he go with the rigot? But he has to say ricotta in the most American way possible. So, yes, my close personal friend, Coach Cal, I'm taking the dub on his win yesterday against Rick Pitino and my rival Big East alum, St. John's, out early. And, yes, in his first year, in his 16th Sweet 16, Arkansas and Cal are certainly having fun with their marriage.
Have fun with your marriage.
Hey-oh, waka waka.
Waka waka. And yes, for today's Get Away From Me Buddies.
He said, get away from me, buddy.
I ask, where does the salt go?
And then where does the salt go?
Because our long national nightmare is over. UConn, as you mentioned, overpowered in the second half today by Florida. And after 2 straight years, we can finally say,
now wait a minute.
There will finally be a new champion in March Madness this beautiful year, 2025. I'm sure they're taking it well in stores south, stores west, stores east, however many arenas you want to overtake. Unfortunately, Raleigh turned into stores south for the losers.
Bye-bye. See you. Bye-bye.
See ya. So he gets all of the salt this afternoon. I'm sure there will be much more salt to go around the rest of the night. But until then, let's get to a tasty top 5. Yes, not a tasty top 3.
All right.
Because it's time to go through the DA Live Bracket Challenge results presented by Tropical Bros.
Yes, the bracket challenge. Here we go. Now, winner, the top three. Now, winner's going to get a grand prize of Tropical Bros gear. The top three finishers will all receive gear from Tropical Bros. They got great, cool, like Hawaiian shirts and swim trunks and flags and koozies. It's a very cool brand. They are sponsoring our bracket challenge. Top three finishers all get Tropical Bro stuff, and there was no entry fee. We just give away stuff for free around here and watch DA live.
That is correct. And DA, here's how the standings shake out. As of 6 p.m., right as we taped with Adam Zucker, first place, it may not be Adrian Wojnarowski, but his name is Woj with 450 points. He has Florida as his champion. Number 2, Amazing Murph. He's got 440. Swagger Dynasty. Love his name and love his pick because we share a national champion in Houston. Okay. 4th, Matty Icema. He's got Duke taking it at 430 points. And then Toast. I don't know if you make your tacos with toast, but I kind of like toast because it goes well with the taco theme. He's got Michigan State cutting down the nets, just 20 points behind. And on the right-hand side there, I threw some celebrity honorable mentions, leading the pack amongst the former and current members of the DA family. How about Shep?
Whoa.
420 blazing.
Hey, all right.
He's got Duke winning it as the title. Yours truly, DA, at 410. Just underneath, you have Florida as your champion. Mraz just behind you, 30 behind at 380. He's got Duke winning it. Babs at 53, but as you know, if you listen to the DA show with Babchick very much a St. John's homer, and they went home, so it's going to be hard for Babs to pick up the slack.
Everybody will pass Babs, so do not worry. You will not finish last. You will all pass Babs because he's already had 2 of his Final Four teams eliminated on opening weekend. He had Clemson and St. John's in the Final Four. Clemson and St. John's, and he picked St. John's to win it all. So he lost his national champ in the round of 32 and lost his other Final Four team in the round of 64.
I can tell that's a very evil DA cackle of you. I had no idea. I knew that he had St. John's winning it, but I didn't realize he had Clemson in the Final Four. Wow.
Yeah. How about that?
So that gives hope for me at 60th, 7th place behind. I also went with Houston. Did not go with Marquette this year for logical reasons and also because I'm trying to avoid the sour candy once again. 340. So that's how it looks for some honorable mentions and the full tasty top 5 of the bracket challenge presented by Tropical Bros.
Love it. Thank you, sir. Marquette Marvel, always doing wonderful work there with the Making Taco segment. As he mentioned, Shep is up there, but Moist Pork also tied for 6th. Okay, so he's right there with Shep. Moist Pork tied for 6th. Also, Dan from Mechanicsburg also tied for 6th. Carlos with a K tied for 6th. All those guys are doing good work. But we also have a bunch of other family, friends of the D-Alien family. Super Dave Friedman is at number 25 in the brackets. We have, where is Bogish? Bogish is a kind sir. He's in this bracket as well. By the way, Mraz, his bracket, his username is I used to be Mraz. So just know if you're looking at this, he's in there as I used to be Mraz. There also is Pete the Body's in here as well. So you can sift through to try to find the quote celebrity brackets. We had a good bunch of late brackets going in, like on Thursday morning. We got a big rush. Everybody waited until Thursday morning to join. So kind sir, Andrew Bogish, 75th. Yikes. How about that? Bad. So that's what we're looking at here with some of the celebrity brackets along the way. Very good. All right, let's get into some NFL off-season talk, shall we? Because we found out this week that Aaron Rodgers is not going to be a Minnesota Viking for now. The Vikings put out one of the most bizarre statements I can ever remember seeing in the NFL free agency world. And that is, we are not pursuing Aaron Rodgers at the moment, but we will keep the door open later on if it's still a possibility. What is going on here? If you are the Minnesota Vikings, why are you jerking around J.J. McCarthy and your confidence in him? Last year is one thing. You have Sam Darnold. He's thrust into that starter's role for the entire season because of the injury to J.J. McCarthy. But once you did not bring back Sam Darnold, all signs are pointing to we trust in McCarthy. He was having a good camp last year before the injury. Now he's been in your system for a full year. Of course, you want to make sure the knee is okay. But once you let Sam Darnold walk, that was the sign that you're turning to JJ and you're confident in JJ. Because if you bring in Aaron Rodgers, even if it's because as a security blanket, you might not love what you see out of McCarthy in OTAs, right? Or in camps, or something happens and his knee is not 100%. What you are doing is you're bringing in a guy that's going to suck up all the oxygen because you believe you have a chance to win on a 1-year rental, perhaps. And if it turns out that you do win, what, you think Aaron Rodgers is leaving? So you have made this so murky by saying, if Aaron is still available down the road, we'll still be open to that possibility. Well, okay. So now you have J.J. McCarthy, right, who's got to wonder, as long as Rodgers doesn't have a job, does he take my job? Okay. On top of it, if he does sign Rodgers with the Steelers or the Giants, have called into question your faith in J.J. McCarthy. So even if he's not coming for J.J.'s job, McCarthy has been openly, right, kind of questioned by the organization as ready for the moment now. And down the road, if this does end up where Rodgers doesn't sign with anybody so that he's available during OTAs, during training camp, going into the season, what have you, you've created the biggest crazy stir because you've created the quarterback controversy by saying JJ's not ready. We got to bring this guy in. And again, if it works, if Rodgers wins, if he wins a Super Bowl, you better hope that Rodgers leaves exit stage left so that you can then start JJ, because if he doesn't and he wants to stick around saying, you know what, I had a good season around here, I'm not ready to go. Now you've pushed off McCarthy's starting until year 4 if Rodgers will want to come back next year. It is all types of ridiculous. And if this is just to make nice with Rodgers so that it doesn't seem like we're not interested, so that you can kind of let him leave with his dignity, why does it matter to you to play nice with Rodgers? What is this about? I find this to be such a PR misstep. If you are the Vikings, the deal was, we're letting Darnold walk because we trust J.J. McCarthy. We'll bring in a veteran backup for J.J. just as insurance. Everybody would understand it, but we have complete confidence in our young quarterback. By planting this seed of doubt publicly, by not immediately distancing yourself from Rodgers, by having conversations internally about whether they should bring in Rodgers, and then finally coming to the conclusion that they won't, but they will keep the door open in case, you've created situations that didn't have to be created. I'm disappointed in the Vikings. They're a well-run organization with a good head coach. They didn't need to mess things up by doing it this way. One final note on the Furious Five, our 5th story of the night. Out of all of the shocking moments of the NFL offseason, signings, player movement, big contracts, etc., nothing was more surprising than what I saw over the weekend. When Jameis Winston signed a 2-year deal, $8 million with the Giants, and Mraz was not on board. Did anybody else see this coming? Jameis Winston, as the soundbite of all soundbites, the cartoon of all cartoons, the caricature of all caricatures, going to the Giants, I would think that Mraz would love this. Absolutely love it. Instead, look, he goes after Jameis in nonstop tweeting over the weekend. There's not enough edibles on planet Earth to help me sleep tonight, knowing there's a chance Jameis throws 40 picks for the Giants next season. The Browns locker room got tired of his act quick, and an act is exactly what it is. Mraz went on to say, I effing cringe when Giants fans say at least we'll be entertained. He blows. He's a complete phony. All caps, by the way. Leader, my fat bleeping ass. Whoa. He moves over to WFAN in New York suddenly. A lot of cursing from Mraz. And not a good guy. Google Jameis Winston sexual assault for starters. Not sure why he had to capitalize the S there. But, I mean, on and on it goes. The Browns in quarterback hell with a smart quarterback and head coach. Couldn't wait to see Jameis walk. Giants fans are so broken. They celebrated the sign of this guy. It's one thing to be relieved the Giants have a veteran. It's another to think that somehow the offense is unlocked. Pathetic. I mean, Mraz losing his mind over the weekend with the signing. I couldn't believe it. And I texted him. I said, you serious with this? Because, yeah, I hate this guy. I go, really? Not a good guy. Bad guy. I said, boy, I did not see this coming. Did not see it coming. Comes back from the Virgin Islands. He's cursing a blue streak. He hates Jameis Winston, the Giants signing. Everybody in the NFL seems to love Jameis Winston except Mraz. And now he's his quarterback, at least for the moment. Who would have thought? Amazing. Yeah, we got to get over to Bob's Bar. Because we got to bring Mraz back to the lighthearted, funny, crazy side of sports. It's too intense. What's going on to the fan in New York is too intense, That being said, okay, I got a little thing for you, okay? I told you I would. All right, here's the bit. I can't tell you the exact date of Bob's Bar, but I can tell you a date that you should set aside for the next 2 weeks, maybe the next week until I get confirmation, okay? Sunday, June 8th is the target date of Bob's Bar, okay? And we're all going to do the broadcast there, the show there. We're going to have a grand old time. We're going to do it big. I promise you that. And it's a chance for you guys to all meet one another, maybe fly in, drive in, see one another. You might want to look at some hotels, might not want to pull the trigger just yet. Maybe you pull the trigger and you make sure you can get refunded if you cancel it by a certain date. But this is a bit. I want that to be the day, June 8th, the Sunday. Okay. That's personally what I want. I've had conversations ongoing with Mraz. I told you this last week. Bob is having knee surgery tomorrow. So Nancy, Mraz's mom, is hesitant at the moment to commit to this date. I said, I totally understand. And if we can't do it at Bob's, we will find another spot to do it. But this is the date. And the hope is that Bob's knee replacement goes well tomorrow. Within a week, he's feeling good, doing well. Nancy's worries are put to bed. And suddenly we got the rubber stamp, okay? So I just want you to put that date in your mind, Sunday, June 8th. Just square it away, okay? Don't commit to anything on that date if you want to be coming to Bob's Bar at the moment. I'm hoping a week from tonight I can rubber stamp this and say it's official. Certainly by 2 weeks from tonight, we will have an official date because I want to give you guys a chance. But I circle that. My feeling is it's going to happen. But, I don't want to assume anything, of course. Again, if we can't do it at Bob's, we'll find an alternative. I think we'll be able to do it at Bob's. That's where the market's trending, okay? A lot of internal conversations, but we want to be respectful of the knee replacement, Nancy, et cetera. So that's where we stand right now, okay? That's where we stand. Non-committal. If we can't do it there, don't worry. We'll find a way to do it this summer. Promise you that. Look for it Sunday, June 8th, right now. Didn't want to do it the following weekend. Following weekend is Father's Day. Okay. Want to do it after Memorial Day. Okay. But before 4th of July, when everybody's out of school, you guys got vacations going on, et cetera. Want to do it a little earlier in the summer. So that's what we got cooking right now. Okay. That's the bit. All right. Let's give away some stuff here, shall we? Because I want to hear from you guys. We have Last Dive Bar gear to give away. We're just giving away tons of stuff. It's amazing. And Last Dive Bar has just been incredible, guys. They're helping me out with the merch store. Got some merch designs starting up now to send over the drafts tonight, actually, to Brian. So we should have Watch DA Live merch in a couple of weeks, I would say. I think the merch store is going to be up in a couple of weeks. I would say by April 1, we might have it. I don't want to set anything in stone yet because that's putting a lot on their plate. But the designs are starting to come. They're really cool. I think you'll really like. We'll have hoodies. We'll have T-shirts. We'll have pint glasses for the summer. We'll do it big. We'll have really cool stuff for you guys to check out for the Last Dive Bar from the guys at Last Dive Bar helping me out with this. But watch DA Live merch. So there you go. Aiden, give me the comments, the questions, the color that is coming in from the D-Aliens tonight.
Can't wait for June 8th. And that is just circle that in pencil, everybody, as we say. I can second that. And yes, a tip of the sombrero at first to Laura, who's watching on YouTube. Smash that like button as they come in with the nice little star emoji. Laura has been a D-Alien for a while. She's been in and out of the chat. Nice conversation with everybody tonight. So Laura, congratulations. Big Last Dive Bar winner.
Okay.
And she's just been a loyal patron.
Very cool. All right, Laura, congratulations. You got to let us know, though, your mailing address. We had 2 winners last week that have still not gotten a hold of us for their Last Dive Bar gear. So you got to make sure you hit either Aiden up or me up, slide into our DMs, hit us up on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, or just simply email us, watchdalive@gmail.com. That's watchdalive@gmail.com. Send us your email addresses or your mailing address, and we'll get that out to you. Both bobbleheads, so all 3 have been sent out. I got the last 2 sent out this week, so those bobbleheads should probably have arrived by now. Congratulations, guys. I love that I got to send those to you. The Bobblehead Hall of Fame, we're super thrilled that we got to give those away, and you guys were really into them, so that was really cool. And Last Dive Bar gives you 15% off your order by using code MOTHERSHIP. So if you want hoodies for the summer, T-shirts for the summer, if you want to get beer glasses, beer steins, their calendars, all their cool stuff. They got wristbands. They got all this great stuff. Check it out. Just go to lastdivebar.com, use code MOTHERSHIP, and, you'll get 15% off your order, which is really, really cool. So gotta love it. All right. Also, I want to get to some other comments over here. Do you have any more that you want to highlight?
Oh, I do too. I have 2 more.
All right. Cigar City Capo, I had to laugh at Mraz is the bad guy here. That's right. Remember Mraz? He's a bad guy. He's a bad man. It's just so intense over there right now.
Not a bad girl, Damon. Bad guy, Damon.
The bad guy. It's bad guy.
Bad guy. And yes, 2 quick, a topic of the day and a celeb of the day in the chat. Which one do you want to do first?
Celeb of the day, you said?
Celeb of the day.
Yeah.
Brandon Cristal checking in.
Okay.
I mentioned Jimmer Fredette in my Making Tacos script. Jimmer, who lives in Denver, not that hard for him to drive 30 minutes to the game.
Oh.
So he's correcting me on my geography a little bit. Danny Ainge, Andy North, both in the house.
Oh.
Yes, I did a lot of research on BYU famous alumni. They've got Taysom Hill as well, Sean Bradley. That's Zach Wilson, obviously. They got AJ DeBanza, who's the prep prospect coming out of my home state of Massachusetts, going to BYU next year. So I think that's a fun team to root for. Yes, I'm a Catholic that just went to Mass this morning, but somehow I'm rooting for the Mormon team. They are just fun to watch. And Brandon is correcting me on my geography. There's just a lot of love going around with BYU right now.
Brandon is a close friend of mine. He works in Denver, covering sports there, and has been a long time Broncos insider in Denver. So I love that he's watching, and yes, letting you know all of the celebs that live in the greater Denver metro that could have been at this game.
That's a quick commute, DA.
So good.
And the topic of the day,
yeah,
I'm giving it to pizza rolls, because Wallace started the train up by saying my bracket has been busted so long. The only upset I had last night was my stomach from eating too many pizza rolls. And it just started a train of, can you put a topping on a pizza roll? Where can I find them in my local supermarket? All of our listeners across the country, obviously, which supermarkets have them, which supermarkets don't. Are you a pizza roll guy? I know I could take it or leave it. At that point, I'd just get a full pie.
Yeah, I'm not a pizza roll guy.
Yeah.
They're fine, but I just don't have to have them. I'm same thing with bagel bites. They're fine. I just don't need to have them. I think for a pizza roll, though, it's a dipping sauce type of thing. It's not, you wouldn't put a topping on it, but you would put a dipping sauce on it, I think. For me, my guilty pleasure frozen food wise is chicken nuggets. You give me a box of chicken nuggets, and I've tried, and I'm actually into some of the fake chicken nuggets. So they're like veggie chicken nuggets, but I'll eat the real chicken nuggets too. That's such a winner for me. You throw them in. And I'm also a pot sticker guy. Frozen pot stickers,
Interesting.
little dumplings. Yeah, and I guess it's really about the sauce. Like if I do either one of those, I could have a sweet chili sauce. I could have a barbecue sauce. I could have a jalapeno ranch from Melinda's. Of course, there's a ketchup. I could do. There's a lot of different things you can go dipping sauce wise. That's why pot stickers, chicken nuggets, those are my two go-tos out of the freezer.
Out of the freezer, in a similar vein, the go-to grocery item that I have that's a staple starting quarterback in my lineup for sure is the orange chicken from Trader Joe's, because it's the same thing. You can have that orange sauce with it, and I just throw some rice on there. Easy to cook. Mraz would be proud of me because back in my college days, it was a running joke how much I couldn't cook, and I made all this frozen food. But hey, I'm at least boiling rice, Mraz. So there you go.
Yeah, that was a big go-to DA dinner, especially in Boston. We had a Trader Joe's not far away from where I lived, so I would go there and just stock up on all their frozen foods. The orange chicken from Trader Joe's was a big one, and I just got a lot of their frozen Asian food, and then just put rice in the rice cooker. You make yourself that rice, and then boom, you get that orange chicken. You just throw it in the oven. Once it's done, you have that little packet of sauce. Bada bing, bada boom. You've done nothing. You put rice in a rice cooker. You put orange chicken in the oven for 25 minutes, and you got a great meal. It's a big, hearty, fulfilling meal. So that's a good call by you. I'm right there with you. I like Delta Brian saying I will tear up or tear up. I don't know. An actual Totino's party pizza any day of the week. Also tear up. Imagine just going.
Wait, did you say Pitino's or Totino's?
Oh, maybe I said Pitino. Totino's. Now, this was an interesting question from Ben Bozo. You said thawed tacos. Do you have frozen tacos in your freezer?
That was a figure of speech. I had to defrost because I was admittedly cold, broken after my Marquette loss on Friday. So yes, the meat this week had to defrost an extra day or two to be able to come here and deliver you the goods on Sunday.
Okay. Because I have seen frozen tacos, frozen mini tacos. Trader Joe's might actually have them. I never liked them that much. I never thought that they were very good.
Frozen taquitos, I will say.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a yesterday special here at the Market Marvel household in the air fryer. That is the stuff that air fryer is made for, folks, because that takes 6-7 minutes. And that is the perfect type of food that the air fryer is made for.
Agreed. You got to love Miss Kitty, which is our friend Hurricane Jen, says, I love tacos as much as I love pizza, but I do love my burgers. And remember, one of the great drops of all time is Hurricane Jen, good burgers.
Do they have good burgers?
So I just love that Hurricane Jen gave us a good burgers drop in the comment section. How great is that? Got to love that.
And I had it loaded up into the system, which we did not even plan.
Very nice. Cigar City Capo, Final Four still in play. Not looking good right now for Maryland, though. What was the final here at the Kentucky game? That has gone final, right?
Yeah, that's the game I was on here, and we're a commercial break. So I'll give you the score right now here, live producing. 84-75. So Kentucky takes it over Illinois. And yes, Maryland, I also have them in the Final Four, Cigar City Capo. They're down by 7 end of the first half.
Okay. All right. I love it. I love the comments that are coming in. Once again, as always, guys, make sure that you are bringing people into the fold here on the show. We want to just make sure that this thing keeps continuing to grow. I want more chances to give more people cool stuff. I want them to come here and feel like it's part of the family. The thing that I love most about this show is that the D-Aliens who've been with me, ride or dies for a long time, day one D-Aliens, they are so warm and inviting. And that's why I want to do the Bob's Bar Show. Really, I really, really want to do it. It's because when you meet them, they bring you in. They bring you into their world. They bring you into their family. They're just Randy in Ohio, Moist Pork, Kristen in Buffalo. The list goes on and on and on. Everybody that has been around the show is just so warm and inviting and good, just good people. So I want to keep extending the invitation. If you know people, bring them into this world, bring them into this family. Sunday nights in the chat is where it's at. We'll do exhale cocktails as we get through to the summer, and just kind of come here to congregate at the end of the week and be part of the fam. So please make sure that you spread the gospel, spread the word, and bring people in that might feel like they might be a little lost. Maybe they don't have a social group. Maybe they just want to feel like they're part of something. This is a good place to do it. Before we get out of here, we got the Little Mo laugh of the day, but hang on for 1 second because I got actually a cool thing. Speaking of Denver. 1 second. That's the beauty of this show as well. We are really live producing it. Ed McCaffrey, okay, 2-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time actually. He won 2 with the Broncos back-to-back, 97, 98. And then again, he won with the Niners. Okay, so that was 94. So he won 94, 97, 98. He has an amazing food line. And he was on NFL radio. He has been for a while. I got to really meet him and spend time with him at the Super Bowl. And he brought some of his sauces, McCaffrey's Rocky Mountain mustard. And I had it. It was delicious. But I said how much I loved his protein bites. And wouldn't you know it, they sent me some. And they're such good people over there. And you know that I only bring sponsors in that I really believe in what they do, knowing they're good people, knowing it's represented by good people. It's why Santo Tequila is such a big part of this. I know the CEO. He's a fan of the show. He listens to me on Sirius XM. His name is Dan. He's a great guy. They're good people. Last Dive Bar, Brian at Last Dive Bar. Like, he's a friend of mine. He's like a close friend. He's like big-hearted, great people. People that I met over at Ed McCaffrey's Rocky Mountain Foods, they were awesome. They were really cool. So, like, oh, you like our stuff? We'll just send you some stuff and just, enjoy it. They didn't tell me to do a spot. I'm just telling you this because I think you can get these a lot of places. These protein bites, okay? And I was talking to Ed about health because he's a health nut. He's like, I wanted a protein bite. I wanted a snack that didn't make you feel sick or bloated. It was good for you, sustainably made, plant-based, chocolate chip cookie dough. This is legit. I'm telling you, I ate these during a show, like an entire bag of these during one of the shows at Super Bowl. Delicious, non-GMO, okay, gluten-free. And, you get your protein out of it, and it tastes like chocolate chip cookie dough. I'm like, is this healthy? It's like, it's pretty good for you. I'm like, oh my God. They've really got great flavors. They've got protein bites that are birthday cake, fudge brownie. So really good stuff. So I'll tell you, they do it well. Ed McCaffrey's a good guy. Just really cool people. So I tell you, I appreciate them sending me this stuff. I highly encourage you to check it out. And it says here that for our listeners, D-Aliens, 10% off your next order if you want to use our code, which is cool. Our code to use is Protein87. So think about his number, his jersey number, 87. Use code Protein87 at their website. Go to McCaffrey Foods or McCaffrey Protein Bites, and you'll find it there. So pretty cool. They're good people. I love it. There you go. I appreciate them being part of the show. Really good stuff. And I'll tell you that chocolate chip cookie dough, awesome. Really awesome. Let us bring you your Little Mo laugh of the day, shall we? And we will wrap up on this. Amir Khan. The story, the face, the character of March Madness. The team manager for McNeese. Is he going to follow Will Wade to NC State? That is the question. Will he enter the transfer portal as well? This guy makes six figures in NIL money. He got a Buffalo Wild Wings insignia on his boombox. This guy had an Under Armour full jumpsuit that said Aura on the back. He's rapping with the team. He's rebounding, wiping out wet spots on the floor, and he's getting NIL deals. This guy ended up becoming the face of the tournament this weekend. How hysterical. This is filling the void of a bunch of fans that have never heard of any of these college basketball players, and many of the coaches as well. They're like, oh, we know Pitino and Cal. I know Bill Self and Izzo. Well, I don't know anybody else. All right. How about the team manager sitting with Spike Lee? Unbelievable. So Amir Khan living his best life. Amir Khan making dollar bills, y'all. Amir Khan with the Buffalo Wild Wings swag. Amir Khan as one of the most desirable transfer portal potential guys this offseason. He's got to go, right? He's got to head with Will Wade to NC State, does he not? Bigger program, bigger conference, more NIL love? I don't know. I mean, unless he wants to stay true to his roots, which would be beautiful as well. But Amir Khan making us laugh, making us love the passion that he has for rebounding. He says, if there were stats for wiping up wet spots on the floor, he would be Wilt Chamberlain. You got to love that type of confidence. Little Mo laugh of the day. All right. It's going to do it for us tonight here on the show. Hey, thanks everybody for watching this wonderful program. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Congratulations, Laura. Let us get your information because we are sending you some Last Dive Bar gear. Get you a t-shirt from Last Dive Bar. They're awesome over there. Once again, use the code Mothership for 15% off your order at lastdivebar.com. Thanks to Aiden Hatton, our executive producer of the Marquette Marvel. Thanks to the D-Aliens. I will see you tomorrow morning. All right, on the DA Show with Babchick on Sirius XM Channel 82. Enjoy the rest of the night on March Madness, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Right now, be good to one another. The Mothership disconnects.